is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm, and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, nor despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a parent protects with their life their child, their only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. Please remain in noble silence until the beginning of service at 10 o'clock. I'd like to invite our incense lighters up and recite the incense lighting gatha, which is on page 2 of your chapters. In gratitude, we offer this incense throughout space and time to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May it be fragrant as earth herself, reflecting careful efforts, wholehearted awareness, and the fruit of understanding slowly ripening. May we and all beings be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. May we awaken from forgetfulness and realize our true home. Morning, Sangha, and happy Mother's Day. My name is Upaya, and I'm a Dharma teacher intern here at the temple. So before we start service today, a few courtesy announcements. That families with small children are welcome to go downstairs. We have a community room, box of toys, lots of stuff down there. There's also a water fountain, restroom. There's also 2 restrooms on the other side of the room. If you need to find a need for seating or need to sit together, feel free to move around a bit before service. And I asked everyone to remember not to walk in front of the dais. We try to keep this as a creation of a sacred space, as well as not interrupting the video feed. So, Buddha taught that joy is one of the factors of awakening. So I ask everyone when we do our chants to put some joy into our chants. Buddha also taught that Sangha and good spiritual friends are the heart of spiritual practice and spiritual life. So let's greet everyone with a silent bow. Start with 3 refuges. On page 3.
I go for refuge to Buddha. I deeply awaken the mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to person in the afternoon.
I
Vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions, and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts.
That's changed.
Away from all delusive views, one most supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, paragate, parasangate, bodhisvaha. Prajna, paramita, Hridaya, Sutra.
And become.
I'd like to introduce our speaker today. This is my Dharma sibling, Shinkyu. We took our vows together. We sat for a very long time together under the same teacher. And where I sort of stayed behind, they have left and are kind of temple hopping, staying in different temples for extended periods of time, doing their studies. And we miss them, and they have sent us a talk to play, and so I'm excited, and I'm grateful to hear from them, even if through a screen. So.
Hello, everybody. Shinkyu here. I am speaking to you, I suppose, from the past. I'm still in Nebraska as the time of this recording. But as you were listening to it, I suppose I'm probably in California right now, Shasta Abbey. At some point during my Ango, a 3-month intensive meditation retreat, that these Angos have been going on under different names, and so does them to call them Ango. But twice a year for about 2,500 years plus, the monks and nuns gather together and meditate a lot, training. It began way back when, during the spring rains. I guess they don't really have spring at that part of the world, but for the rainy season, the monks and nuns would gather, I think, in caves, right? Because the roads were impassable. It became sludgy, a mess. So these barefoot monks would take refuge in wherever they could, together practicing. So that's what I am supposedly doing right now. Hopefully my plane trip, and then car trip, and then foot trip gets me to where I'm looking to be. But today, I would like to talk about, I like to call them ghost selves. I might have mentioned this before. I can't remember if I talked about the Ghost Festival here or not. This is slightly related. So, technically, I should have been in Michigan right now. The right now of this video, not the right now of your right now. So this is what the heck month isn't it? It's January 3rd. I was supposed to be ensconced in a nice warm apartment in Grand Rapids today. This today, not your today. Your today I should be gone. But the reservations of my friends' apartments did not work out properly. They had another person staying there, so I decided to stay on in Nebraska for a couple more weeks. So it created this strange sense where there's this other Shinkyu, this split in the path, so to speak, excuse me, where it doesn't exist anywhere but in my mind. But strangely enough, this idea of me being, having traveled on the 1st of January is when I was supposed to leave, still kind of bumping around in there. I feel as if I should be, some quantum way, perhaps, in Grand Rapids right now, doing all this other stuff in preparation for heading out to California. A lot of times, these ghost selves that we have are, I won't say they're not real. They're real in that they are in our minds. We create them. They're like identities that they roam around in our heads, right? And maybe they torment us, or sometimes they're aspirational. I know I've talked about in Nebraska here at the center a lot about my feelings, underlined, about my past job at Gentex at the factory. This last going on 8 months has been a decompression period from that work. I didn't work on the line in the factory, except for the very beginning and the very end, of course, at the some strange factory sandwich. I was mostly off the line doing different things, but my body and my mind were very much influenced by the work there. Very hectic, fast-paced, measured by the minute what you should be doing. Right? And it took me about 3 months and 1 week, I remember the day, where I was finally that hectic, manic, questing energy that you need to have to work that type of job finally just washed out. I was thinking last night, I felt like I spent 19 years, the pop bottle just shaking it up. And then you finally set it down on the table and you take the top off, and what's going to happen? It's like, it's going to be a big explosion, right? My whole body for those 3 months felt like I had been shook up for about 19 years straight, and finally got the cap taken off, put on the countertop, and just whoa. The factory was still with me, right? Our past is still with us. I have a ghost factory that I carried around with me, and I still, this ghost self that I'm talking about, this idea that I had the whole time I was at the factory. I think I yelled about this before, and I was telling myself, I'm not a factory worker. I just happened to work in a factory, right? This was this alternate self of mine, this alternate identity view. Buddha's always talking about identity view, fabrications of identities, right? This was a negative identity that I had, right? When we talk about dukkha, it's being in the presence of things that you don't like, or being away from things that you do like. Or for me, it's a little bit of both. I was in the presence of the factory, which I didn't like, and I was not in the presence of what I would like, which was to be out of the factory, doing something maybe like this, or whatever, and literally anything else at that point. But I let this ghost self that didn't really exist except for in my mind, really beat me up, The ghost self that we're talking about today, the one about me who should have been in Michigan, this I have a much more skillful relationship to these ghost selves now, at least to this particular one. I'm sure there's some that might blindside me at some moments in time. Be sitting and staring at the wall for about 5 hours a day for 3 months at the monastery coming up. There'll be plenty of time to torment myself mentally if that is in my karma. We'll see. I will report back and find out if this is true. But and this particular ghost self that I'm talking about right now is one that is made up of something that hadn't happened and exists mostly in my mind. But we have other ghost selves as well. These are ones that I've talked about before. We have the ghost selves of our own self, right? Our own unskillful practices or skillful practices, or neither skillful or unskillful. The ways that we learn how to navigate our own inner emotional lives when we're children, young adults, teenagers, right? If someone brings up the fact that you're bald, right? Your dad, say, would get real upset about it. So what did you learn? It's when someone talks about your bald head, you get upset, right? And it's not even something you might necessarily think about on that level, but it's something that you have imbibed through your bones, just being in certain situations like that. My dad was never like that. He's been bald for as long as I know, and he used to shave his head and had a good nature about it, so same with me. There was one guy I went to, this is a story on the side, there's lots of little political things going on in Omaha, and being in the position that I'm in, you're getting invited to things like this. So I went as a representative of the temple. For some reason, people would know where you're from because you had signage that would tell people where you're from. So I'm not 100% sure why, but some guy came up to me and saw my bald head and kept talking about how I looked like Pete Ricketts. I had absolutely no clue who Pete Ricketts was. So I had so I was just kind of sure guy, whatever. Is this guy trying to strike up a friendly thing? Is he making fun of me? I did not know in the moment. And then later on, I looked up Pete Ricketts, and apparently he's the governor or senator, something of Nebraska, and he's a baldy, completely, not even this. So the jury remains out whether this guy was subtly bullying me or trying to unskillfully strike up some type of conversation. But right there, he kind of is a ghost in my mind. I haven't really thought about this guy, but he exists, in my mind as this person. The jury remains out perpetually, in perpetuity, whether, what the nature of this conflict or this conversation was. But I could, if I was a different person, maybe a younger person. This ghost of this guy talking to me, just turning in my head. I can't believe he was making fun of my bald head. You know, that's not how my karma worked out. But people do have things that they're, sensitive about. These ghost voices live inside their minds. So I didn't even get to the point where, I did a little bit, I suppose, I guess that guy's not actually a made-up ghost. He's a real ghost, but I can also make up the stories about him that could lead me to deal with that situation unskillfully. But, yeah. These are the things that we carry around with us. Right? The voices that are a part of us. They're not necessarily just they're like my mother's voice lives eternally in my mind. My father's voice. Some of my friends from back in the day. I will be walking around and I will hear their words coming out of my mouth. Right? Like to say, as Thich Nhat Hanh does, that a rose is made up out of all non-rose pieces. This self, little s self, is made up out of all non-Shinkyu pieces. All the pieces are borrowed from the rest of the universe. But as we get closer, we draw to a close. I've got about a minute if I'm being proper with my time. How do we navigate these ghost voices in our minds, right? What can we do with them? Sometimes it's difficult, right? The Gentex ghost that lives still in my body and mind, its potency has lessened as I have sat in zazen, sat in meditation, faced the wall, calmly breathing, excuse me, watched what rose up in my mind, rose up in my body. And it's not just this cultivation of awareness isn't just for the mat, for the cushion. We practice on the cushion so that we can bring this awareness up with us, as we go about our day-to-day life. For me, one a really big realization was I think I was in the temple by myself. I was coming downstairs to do something, maybe to make food or laundry, or maybe just to go outside or something. But I was thinking, kind of watching myself think at a distance, and I said to myself, I'm going to do every single thing I can do. Like the remainder of my life, I'm going to live it so that I never get into a situation where I'm at a job like this factory. I will, no matter what, this is how I'm pledging to live the rest of my life. And I heard myself say this. This sounds like someone, this is the type of thing you would say about unpleasant episodes, like from childhood or your life, right? This type of relation, this emotional relation to this past ghost, we'll say, this job I'm at. I have not let it go, right? I'm holding on to it so tightly, but I'm trying to push it from my life, and while I'm pushing it, I'm like, right? I'm actually holding on to it so much tighter than it would be if I just sat and let it go. So for me, I think I've gotten to the point, after I saw that, I'm like, whoa, I really need to examine my relationship to this whole thing. Is it's been on, people here are just like, that job really affected you. I talk about it in like every single talk, right? So, lately I've been examining that relationship. By examining that relationship, I mean I just watch myself, hear the things that I say about it, feel the feelings that I feel about it. And when I'm feeling myself, ooh, just, this is an aspect of my past. I can't do anything about the past right now as lived, but what I can do about the past, because the past is still alive in us right now, is to cultivate a more skillful relationship to the past, my emotional, dharmic relationship to it. So for me, it's just, I'm watching. Every time it comes up, I'm looking at it, right? I'm feeling that anger rise up and tell myself, it's okay to feel that anger. But, getting riled up like that, trying to push things away, that's the unskillful things, right? Pushing away, ignoring, and grasping. So I've been pushing away a lot. So I just by sitting so much zazen, watching myself, seeing what I do, I've noticed these words that I will just kind of pop into my mind that reinforce this negative relationship to this past situation. So I've been narrowing in, laser focus, every time that topic pops up in my head, and it does quite frequently. I watch and see what it is that I think, how I react, and when I see myself being unskillful, reacting negatively, I steer myself right onto a more skillful course. Just reinforcing skillful, fake it till you make it, skillful actions. No, this is how it is, and we're living this life right now, and I can be free of the influence of this past factory ghost. So I will see you all soon, hopefully. So take care.
So as part of our temple tradition, we offer a red carnation to all the mothers in our Sangha, and since there are some left over, to take them home to the mothers in your life or to your loved ones too. So this custom comes from the Vietnamese Buddhist holiday of Mao Vu Lang, which celebrates motherly love and also invites us to reflect on our precious human birth. So feel free to come up and creation. Yes. Yes, feel free to come up. There's very little water. On this Mother's Day, we gather as a community to celebrate and honor the mothers in our lives, those who have given birth and those who have nurtured, and all, our actual mother or not, who embody the boundless, compassionate heart of a mother. In our Buddhist tradition, the love and care of a mother is seen as one of the purest expressions of metta, loving kindness, and karuna, compassion. This day invites us to reflect with gratitude on the many ways we've been supported, nourished, and uplifted by mothers and mother figures along our path. For those whose relationships with their own mothers are troubled, take this chance to offer loving kindness and compassion for yourself, as well as letting go of some of those feelings. We dedicate this offer with wishes for the happiness, health, and peace of all mothers, past, present, and future. This time I'd like to open it for joys and concerns. Does anyone have anything to share this week?
Good morning, Sangha. Nandapula Baba. Really grateful to be here. Brings me joy seeing you. So she said, "Hi, Craig." Thank you. So today, I was coming here on the bus. I'll share a couple quick joys. I'm coming here on the bus, right, riding the bus. I see ducks, and I love ducks, okay? It's the thing I'm like falling in love with. And watching a duck is the most ridiculous bird in the world to fly, to me right now. They seem to be too heavy for their wings, so they have to like really, I'm like, look at the effort. And you watch other birds, they're just all graceful, you know, but anyway, it brought joy to my heart. But I'm on the bus, right, doing some affirmations. and I have a challenge with this, but it was like for a moment, I was stopped grasping and looking for the love within my heart, and it just let go, and I experienced just pure joy, beauty, peace. I don't know, love, like all those things, and like tears. And it was really, I'm like, there it is. I'm trying to get that, but then as they were talking about, like I'm grasping for it and trying to get it, and instead of receiving it, and it seems to be a very difficult, like being receptive of it. There's a couple other ones. Just seeing you guys, it warms my heart. So I'm really grateful that you guys are here. That's all I have.
Hello, Shantadirti Bhava. I have concern and a couple of joys. Concern, I know this day is hard for some of us, myself included, and my mom and I have been on basically non-speaking terms for almost a year now. And I think I'm going to drop off a flower on her doorstep, and what she does with it, it's her choice. And I just hope for healing for that relationship and for others as well going through that. My joys, my sweetie's here with me, and I'm going to be 39 this year, and I have avoided tulip time like the plague for pretty much most of my life. And both of our jobs were in the parade yesterday, so we both decided, hey, if you do it, I'll do it. So we both decided to walk in the parade with our jobs, and it was a lot of fun, actually. It was a lot of fun. And, I work in an animal hospital, so a lot of people brought animals, and to see the people in the crowd and how happy they were to see the dogs, and people just happy to see us and yelling thank you to us, and it was just really cool. So that's what I have.
Good morning, Sangha. My name is Shane, or Jewish and Sue. I have a few joys and a couple concerns. Joy, my sister just got a job where I'm working. She's starting soon. Awesome. My girlfriend just got a new job. Awesome. And then I have an interview for a promotion within my job Tuesday. So trying for another promotion, seeing if I get that one. My concerns is my partner, Carolyn, she lost her mother 8 years ago, so today's a hard day for her. And then also for my father and my aunt, who lost my grandmother 3 years ago. Everyone who's lost a mother or has a hard relationship with their mother, today is a hard day. So my heart goes out to them. Thank you.
Let's take a moment to hold these joys and concerns in our hearts. Okay, so May announcements. On Sunday, May 25th, Sunshin is getting a Dharma transmission. Yay! So Dharma transmission ceremony during Sunday service. Do not miss this. This will be very special. Join us after service for a potluck to celebrate Reverend Senshin's Dharma transmission. Please bring a dish to share, preferably vegetarian or vegan, with a note that lists all the ingredients for folks with food preferences or allergies. Yes, the food preferences. Wednesday is the online meditation group that I'm leading during Kuga's sabbatical, and that meets from Wednesday nights online on Zoom between 6 and 6:45. Hope to see you there. So contact me, Papaya Jeff Philo, Papaya at ZenGR, or just stop by and I'll give you the info. There is a Grand Rapids Buddhist Temple board meeting on Sunday, May 18th, and that is from 11:30 to 1 in the Temple Community Room or Zoom, and everybody's available. Everybody's welcome to observe. There's a Dharma discussion group on Thursdays, and that meets at 9:30 to 11 in the Temple. And contact Reverend Jingsu Ryan Duffield or see the newsletter for the details on that. There are also Buddhist-based recovery meetings on Mondays, 6:30 meditation, 7 o'clock meeting at the Temple. Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. at the Alano Club, and that's on College Ave, Grand Rapids. And then Fridays with a 10:05 meditation and 10:30 meeting at the Temple or via Zoom. So as always, for detailed running of events, you can see the newsletter or visit zengr.org. Some end of service announcements. Sure.
I actually have two announcements. One is our Buddhist mutual aid Sangha is meeting today, right after the service downstairs. Also, as part of my Dharma transmission, there's another ceremony that we'll be having next Sunday, on the 18th, that's known as the Dharma combat. It's historically a test to see if priests are ready for that. And it's kind of a question answer. And so that I would ask that if you have any questions that you'd like to ask during that, to just think about that in the next week, and then you can present those questions to me. Also, as part of that, I'm doing a koan study. And this is, part of it is used to kind of spark a lot of these questions, although your questions do not have to do anything with the koan that I'm studying. But I would like to present that koan to you all now, just in case it might spark any sort of questions or insight in the following week. So it's beat up because I've been carrying it with me for a long time. So there are two main points to this. There's the pointer, which is a short passage, it's just sort of spark our mind in the right spot. And then there's the case itself. So the pointer reads, "Fine as rice powder, cold as icy frost. It blocks off heaven and earth and goes beyond light and dark. Observe it where it's low and there's extra. Level it off where it's high and there's not enough. Holding fast and letting go are both here. But is there a way to appear or not? To test, I'm citing this old case. Look." And the case reads, "Tansai asked a monk, 'Where have you come from?' The monk said, 'From down the mountain.' Heisei said, 'Have you eaten yet or not?' The monk said, 'I have eaten.' Heisei said, 'Did the person who brought you the food to eat have eyes or not?' The monk was speechless. Cheng Ching asked Pao Fo to give some food to eat is an ample requital of the debt of kindness. Why wouldn't he have eyes? Fu said, 'Giver and receiver are both blind.' Cheng Ching said, 'If they exhausted their activity, would they still turn out blind?' Fu said, 'Can you say that I am blind?'" So again, I hope to see you all next week for the Dharma combat, and then the following week for yes, it is like that. hopefully I won't get punched in the face too hard. So, and then the following week, and also I hope that you will all help to make Suji feel at home here as she returns for these ceremonies. So, thank you. Oh. No, that's not till next week. Yes, so all of these koans are part of the Blue Cliff Records, which is a set of koans that are used extensively with Rinzai Zen and then also with my school. It is the 76th case, and it's called On Tai Sai's Have You Eaten Yet? Yep, and it's part of the Blue Cliff Record, 76. Yep.
Please stand as we recite our closing dothas.